I think my fear was that this was somehow going to be seen as a film that would only interest women. And the response from men I've found really heartwarming is that it has that universal quality, not only because of an audience's sexual persuasion, but also because of the gender.
This movie is so much about looking and kind of the power of the gaze to kind of conceal and yet reveal very deep feelings. How much or how little direction did he give you?
It never felt like direction. It always just felt like he's so collaborative. It always felt like a collaboration. And Todd does so much work before we even get to set that he was kind enough to include us on. So when we were on set, we didn't have that much time to shoot this film or that much money, so there wasn't really a lot of time to be sort of figuring it out while we were there. We had to do a lot of that before we ever got to set.
He'll ask you a question about something, which means that every time you go into a take, you're seeking to answer something. And not that you necessarily pin it down and answer it, but it means that you go in trying to discover something. And, and as Rooney said, he's so deeply collaborative. And so, people talk about, how was it to work with Rooney, or I don't know, maybe they ask you how it was to work with me, which is fabulous. But wasn't it Rooney? But it was very much working with Todd, and so it always, and that was really, it meant that your relationship through Ed Lachman to Todd through the camera was a really active relationship.
This film has been gestating for quite a long time. At what point did you enter the process and decide you had to do the film?
Phyllis said the other night, Phyllis Nash, who wrote the screenplay, said that she was commissioned to write the screenplay 18 years ago, which is a long time for a lesbian story to sit in the closet. But it took her. I think once Elizabeth Carlson came on board, it really it gained a momentum and a focus, and then I came on. I don't know. I mean, it becomes immaterial once the thing gets made as to who came on first and how long. But I don't know, maybe 6 years, and then. But it wasn't really till Todd came on board that it became a film, and then obviously he wanted, everyone wanted to work with Rooney, and then it took off.
Does this seem like a political film? Because I think that I would describe it myself as groundbreaking by appearing to not be groundbreaking.
Yeah, I mean, I've never thought of the film as political. I think that's one of the great gifts of the film, is that it's not shoving an agenda on anyone. It's really just, it allows the audience to watch it without any defenses up, because it's not trying to push any sort of agenda onto you. And since the movie's come out, most of the questions aren't about the fact that it's a love story between two women. It's really just about the fact that it's a love story.
If this film had been made 18 years ago, I think that it would have been viewed through a much more political prism. Whereas I think that the political conversation in society has in most Western English-speaking countries has shifted enough for this to be seen as a love story.